What's up, guys? It's Storm here. You saw the title thumbnail, you already know this video is going to be about Zoro, the resident swordsman of the Straw Hat Pirates, versus the Surgeon of Death, Trafalgar D. Waterlaw. But real quick before I start, like the video, subscribe to like content like this, it really does help me out a lot unless you make more videos just like this. Alright, now let's start with Zoro. Zoro was a master swordsman who uses his own special brand of combat he created himself, the Santoryu, or three-sword style if you are on a weeb. After sharpening his skills for 2 years with the world's greatest swordsman, Dracula Mihawk, he returns to the Straw Hat Pirates with incredible new power. After entering the New World, the Straw Hat Pirates make an alliance to take down the Emperor Kaido, who rules over the land of Wano. Here is where we start to get into Zoro's scaling, with what the fandom refers to as Roof Piece, where the worst generation fights the Yonko on the roof of Onigashima. Zoro's first impressive showing is him being able to react to Big Mom throwing Prometheus at Luffy, and cutting the fireball in half with Foxfire style Flame Rend. Afterwards, Zoro and Killer charge at a base Kaido and seemingly are able to outspeed and tag him. Just for context, Kaido does say he wants to see what the Rooftop 5 are capable of, so it may not be indicative of Kaido's true ability. Kaido compliments the attack from Zoro and Killer, but it is shown to be too shallow to have properly damaged him. Zoro then says he has unleashed more of Enma's power. Enma is a sword that naturally drains and exudes the user's haki, so Zoro always has to control the amount he is releasing. Using Enma, Zoro charges up another attack, and his aura is so powerful that Big Mom warns Kaido of its danger. Zoro releases one sword style, Dragon Blaze, forcing Kaido to dodge and making Big Mom admit to underestimating Zoro. Kaido dodging the attack likely means it would have damaged him if it hit, which is good scaling for Zoro's attack power. He then saves Luffy from a Big Mom attack, which is really good for his speed scaling. The weakened Luffy is then eaten by Kaido, which prompts Zoro into cutting Kaido with Black Rope Dragon Twister. This is the first actual instance of Zoro damaging Kaido, and it makes Zoro's power and base being a threat to Dragon Kaido even more consistent. There are detractors in the community who believe Enma exudes Odin's haki for whatever reason, so I'll talk about why it's wrong. Kaido relating Zoro to Odin is likely due to the nature of Enma exuding haki, and it being familiar to him due to his past fights with Odin. Enma using Odin's haki is a weird claim due to not only Odin being dead at the time, but us seeing Zoro's haki get sucked out when Enma is introduced. Continuing on, Kaido transforms into his hybrid form and with Big Mom, launches a combo attack at the worst generation. Zoro blocks the attack on his own for a short period until Law teleports the 5 out of the way of the attack's trajectory. Kid describes blocking the attack as a feat in itself if only for a second. This feat is also misconstrued within the community as a feat of durability, even though this is more of an endurance-based feat. Zoro's durability was too weak to completely block the attack, which is why Zoro had 20 to 30 broken bones that are observed by Law. He was also teleported away from the attack's full power, so this isn't a feat for Zoro's durability. In the last act of Defiance, Zoro uses 9-sword style Ashura and charges at Kaido in order to protect Luffy's unconscious body. He's able to overpower Kaido multiple times before finally cutting the world's strongest creature and scarring his body like Odin did 20 years ago. It is implied Ashura uses the advanced coding of Conqueror's haki and that this level of haki is required to scar Kaido. While Zoro was injured in this exchange, he is stated in 3 separate sources to be using his full power. It can be interpreted as his best in spite of his injuries, or his true best overall. Personally, I agree with it being his true best, due to this far and away being Zoro's best feat up until this point. Next up is Zoro's fight with King. The first important thing about King is his durability. Zoro uses the same Black Rope Dragon Twister he was able to damage Kaido with on King, and to his surprise, King was able to block it and take no damage. This means King has better raw durability than Kaido in his dragon form. Just to clarify, King is stated weaker than Kaido within the V-Record databooks, and it credits his ability to tank Zoro's attacks to not only his ancient Zoan Devil Fruit, but his Lunarian biology, so obviously Kaido would still beat King in a fight. Zoro then uses Deaf Lion Song, which he states to be a better attack to no avail, basically saying run-of-the-mill attacks won't work on King. Zoro then lets Enma drain his haki even more to achieve a proper Conqueror's coding. He does have a time limit on it due to how much haki is being pulled from him, and for this video I'll be referring to it as King of Hell Zoro. Despite this new amp, King of Hell Zoro himself isn't confident in trying to cut King with his flame on, which makes King more durable in exchange for his speed. King is also wary of allowing King of Hell Zoro to cut him, which leads to ambiguity of whether or not this new Zoro can cut defensive mode King. Zoro was then able to overpower King's final attack and defeat him. Something else I want to mention about Zoro in this fight is him showing his proficiency in armament haki. He is able to quickly use it to defend against King's explosion, and showed the ability to emit his haki off his swords when he clashed with King. We never get to see Zoro use Ashura or any of his stronger attacks on King, due to Enma going berserk after using Death Lion Song, so it's hard to know which is stronger. King of Hell exudes more haki due to it being so much that it will eventually kill Zoro, so I lean on it being stronger. This will round out Zoro's section. As a part of the alliance to take down Kaido, Law was also present in the Wano arc, and he is also one of the Reap Top 5. Before we get into his scaling, we will surely talk about his Devil Fruit. Law ate the Op fruit, which is meant to simulate operations, fitting for Law since he is a doctor. Law can create giant spaces in which he has a variety of abilities that allow him to manipulate everything around him. He can swap the position of objects through teleportation, make objects levitate, split people apart without injury, switch people's bodies, and much more. All of this and the ability to make someone immortal at the cost of his own life makes this fruit renowned as the ultimate Devil Fruit. Law's first good feat is him being able to react and teleport Luffy out of the way of the base Kaido attack mid-swing. Right after, Law along with Luffy and Kid play chicken with Prometheus' attack, and they all are able to tank it. Law uses one of the many abilities of his Devil Fruit, Gamma Knife, and stabs Kaido with it. The Gamma Knife is an electrical knife that allows Law to rupture the organs within that victim's body without leaving any external wounds, negating conventional durability. Law then takes Zeus's God of Lightning Tenjin, and he is able to damage Big Mom with Counter Shock afterwards. In a final exchange with Hybrid Kaido, Law is able to react to Kaido charging at Zoro and swap places with him, then hits him with an injection shot, damaging him. After landing this attack, Law reacts to Hybrid Kaido again and protects himself with Antibacterial Curtain. Pretty good consistency for Law reacting and damaging the Yonko. After being able to separate the Yonko, Law and Kid team up to take on Big Mom. The beginning portion of this fight is actually impressive for Law due to Kid not being able to fight at all due to Hawkins inflicting wounds all over his body, effectively meaning Law was fighting Big Mom by himself. Law himself even refers to Kid as useless before attacking Big Mom, getting countered by Prometheus. After being put on the back foot once Big Mom starts to attack them more seriously, Law and Kid reveal their Devil Fruit awakenings. Law starts to coat his sword with Kroom Anesthesia, then leaps onto Big Mom using his awakened technique, Shock Wheelie. Law describes it as creating shockwaves that occur from within the victim, negating their durability. Big Mom is shown coughing up blood from this attack, meaning it was able to damage her. Once she has taken both Law and Kid's awakened attacks, Big Mom uses 1 year for her lifespan in order to strengthen herself. She grows in size and strength, and I'll be referring to her as Bigger Mom while in this transformation. She compliments the two for being able to damage her and says she hasn't felt pain like this in decades. To confirm Big Mom's seriousness in this fight, it is confirmed in the Weekly Shonen Jump magazine that Big Mom is attacking with all she has, meaning she's going all out on the two Supernova. After her transformation, she starts to beat the captain senselessly, but once she turns her back on them, Law is able to activate his awakening again. He uses Shock Wheelie on Bigger Mom again, this time on her arm and body, which result in her bones being broken. Kid did hit Bigger Mom with his mechanical bull, but she atones the bones to Law's ability, so it's more likely it was Law's doing. Law breaking a Yonko's bones is really good for his scaling because it's one of the most devastating attacks on a Yonko we've ever seen on screen. In one of his last exchanges with Bigger Mom, Law jumps on top of her and puts his sword through her body. He endures countless haki-coated punches from Bigger Mom while diving the sword deeper and deeper until it reaches the land below Onigashima. Law then unleashes his Puncture Wheelie, which heavily damaged Bigger Mom to the point where she profusely coughs up blood. Bigger Mom's previous attack, Misery, attacks Law, and he cuts the homie without the use of his Devil Fruit powers, showing his normal strength. Just for reference, Law is actually a swordsman. He was taught swordsmanship from Diamante as a child, and is proficient in multiple forms of combat, being gunsmanship and martial arts, which he learned from Gladius and Lao Ji respectively. At the conclusion of Wano, Luffy, Kid, and Law each get the poneglyph from the island and go their separate ways. Shortly after, we see Law get into a scuffle with the Blackbeard pirates. Law is able to get Blackbeard off his Pegasus and fall into the ocean, but before he can reach the water, Law attacks with Shock Wheelie and damages Blackbeard. The final interaction we see on screen, Law and Blackbeard clash. This is impressive due to the nature of the Gura no Mi and its lore. The Gura no Mi is so powerful, Oda references it as one of the most powerful paramecia that is as powerful as Logia Devil Fruits. It is also stated to have the power to destroy the world. In One Piece Databook Deep Blue, Whitebeard's Devil Fruit is praised as the most powerful of the paramecia fruits, making it likely to be the strongest of its category. And finally, in One Piece Databook Green, Blackbeard is referred to as having absolute attack power using the Gura no Mi and the ability to negate abilities with the Darkness Fruit, together making the strongest power. With the consistency of these statements, it can be said the Gura no Mi is the strongest of Paramecia Devil Fruits, making it stronger than Big Mom's Soul Fruit. Law clashing with this and his awakening makes his power unsafe with the Yonko. That's it for Law section. These two characters have comparable feats to one another when looking at them critically. Zoro was able to cut Kaido with his Ashura form, while Law was able to break Big Mom's bones with his Shock Wheelie. When looking at these two instances in particular, it is in Law's favor. Even without his awakening, Law was able to damage both Big Mom and Kaido while having access to attacks such as the Gamma Knife and Injection Shot. In raw power, Law has this for sure when using his awakening. He has shown better stamina with it during his fight with Blackbeard as well, not even complaining about his stamina the whole fight. Zoro, however, definitely has the advantage in raw strength and haki. Zoro in base was able to cut Dragon Kaido and damage him, while Law had to rely on his Devil Fruit to damage both of the Yonko. We know based on the rooftop fight and Law's interaction with Blackbeard that powerful haki can negate Devil Fruit effects. Zoro's haki should be sufficient in overpowering Law's abilities, considering his overwhelming Conqueror's haki and his relativity with Law. Law wasn't able to use Shambles on Big Mom despite him having power sufficient to damage her and speed capable of reacting to not only her but Kaido. This makes it more reasonable for Zoro to resist Law's abilities. Law, however, should be able to move Zoro around when he isn't using his advanced haki like he was able to on the rooftop. In speed, they also have comparable feats to one another, reacting and dodging Yonko attacks. Law also has access to teleportation while being on a similar level of speed as Zoro, which is a big advantage. While they are both relative to each other in this category, I would lean towards Law, but there shouldn't be any major problem for one or the other to land attacks. In terms of durability, Zoro has shown that he can take multiple attacks from King and take Big Mom's lightning attacks. After being damaged by Big Mom and Kaido's combination attack, Zoro takes a Thunder Bagua from Kaido and is left unconscious. Law also took lightning attacks from Big Mom and had also taken the same Thunder Bagua attack from Kaido as Zoro, but remained conscious. Zoro was heavily damaged before taking the attack, so him being knocked unconscious is not a showing of his lack of ability. It is a good showing of Law taking a named attack from Kaido and quickly recovering and being ready to take on Big Mom shortly after. During his fight with Big Mom, he jumps on top of her and was able to take multiple haki-coated punches from her, which is better than anything Zoro has shown durability-wise. Again, it isn't so much of a difference that Zoro cannot damage Law, but I thought it was worth noting. I do think Law would win a fight between the two due to his overwhelming ability while having similar if not better feats to Zoro. Zoro wasn't too far behind, but there is a portrayal of the Captain Trio being above the subordinates within the Rooftop 5, such as the captains being the ones to fight the Yonko and defeat them, while Zoro is more so delegated to fighting the right-hand man of the Big Bad. Zoro has a chance at taking the dub, but I would say it's much more likely for Law to.